Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live. As always, my name is Josh Lilquist, and I'm here with the Stockmaster, Mr. Al Connickson. He's shedding some light on some of the different opportunities that are arising with these markets, different strategies and techniques to collect your profits, having the discipline to do so, but also knowing where, when, and how to do that. And that's why we have these investing classes right here at the Academy, inviting you to learn the different techniques, the different strategies, whether you're in your income years or during retirement, and whether you have a 401k and IRA and you want to have different decisions and take more action with those, to come into one of these investing classes. By the way, they're free. Simply just text the word investing to the number 210-210 right now for 2 seats. That's text investing to the number 210-210, or simply go to otamin.com. That's OTAMINN.com and claim your seats for that. When you do that, you're going to receive an insider's kit, which will help you get started right away. We also love our subscribers. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. That's Investing and Trading Live on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. So, Al, since we talked about those strategies that and the things that you need to do in your life to realize those gains. I gave the analogy of the Super Bowl, and they went and they took that Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl by passing it into the end zone, scoring the final touchdown to win the game. And you have to do the same thing in the financial markets. When you have investments that get to a certain point, which is in a strategy, a step-by-step strategy that we develop here at the Academy, you have to be able to take action and have the discipline to follow and realize those gains. Because if you just let it sit there, it's just a hope strategy. So to have longevity in the markets, you have to take profits as it goes. It's kind of like your job. You have a job and you have a paycheck. Some people it's every week. Some people it's every other week. And basically you're realizing your gains from your hard work throughout that pay period. Well, the same concept applies in the financial markets. Now, we have a lot of listeners, Al, that are doing really well financially. They have really good jobs. But the problem is they're probably working 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week, and they're getting tired of that. They want to. I was having a conversation with a good friend the other day, and they said, I want to buy my time back. And obviously, you can't go back in time. But what you can do moving forward is create a strategy where hopefully you have another income strategy in your life. And then being able to dial back when you're comfortable and confident, so then you can get your life back. And that's what a lot of our listeners want to be able to do, is get their life back, get their freedom of time back, and not having to be told what their net worth is. Mm-hmm. So people want to get their time back and have another income strategy to build that wealth bucket. And it takes a strategy to do that. As you mentioned earlier, you have to have the discipline to follow that strategy. Now, that being said, with some of the great opportunities with the markets, obviously stocks are doing really well right now. And if people are not investing in stocks, they might be missing out. But they are at all-time highs. So sometimes going in there and just buying a stock after it's got to the top. I mean, for example, if you look at one of the high flyers that a lot of people are talking about is NVIDIA, $730-something odd dollars per share. Well, it takes a lot of money, but yes, it's at all-time highs. Could it continue? It could. But the likelihood of that continuing that run, it's, as what they call it in the movie War Dogs, 50-50. And that's not a good strategy. You want to place the odds in your favor where you have more odds and more probabilities. There's other assets that do different things. They're not correlated with the markets. I want you to discuss on this segment here, what can people do differently? What can people do and not have to go get another job? What can people do to eliminate their time or get their time back and have a strategy that works for them and they're not working harder?
Right. Well, first, before I comment on that, let me just say something about what you mentioned about stocks, holding stocks. Stocks are a fantastic asset for your long-term wealth, but what the mistake most people make is they will put together a stock portfolio, put it on hold, and just hope that things keep going their way. One of the things that we teach our students how to do, and to be a successful investor and trader, you need to know how to do this, and that's manage your portfolio, manage your positions. And sometimes that might mean taking a profit, or it might mean using a different type of asset to protect those particular equity holdings that might be moving down. There are a number of things that we show our students how to do as far as managing. And then now on to your comment about time and extra income. I think what happened during the COVID shutdown, people were forced to spend more time with their families, and for the most part, they liked that, and they got used to really maximizing the value of their time instead of putting most of their time into working, where you're working for someone, you're working to make some money to pay some bills. People understood that there's value in that time, and the time is a decaying asset. So how do you protect that and still not hit the income part of your life? Well, there are strategies and assets that you can use that, by the way, the institutions are using these. People say, well, how come all these big firms are making so much money? How come the hedge funds are making so much money? It's because they're using assets that they don't tell you about, they don't teach you about, but most of them, or a good part of them, are these assets that can be used for short-term income. So if you're looking for additional income, you want to value your time, maximize the value of the time that you have left, then you can use something that is really designed for short-term income with little input as far as time on your part. And what we've also found, Josh, that I think has increased the necessity to be able to do something like that is with inflation, people that are in the six-figure income are living paycheck to paycheck. MoneyWise just did a survey, and they found that a third of Americans that earn over $150,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. And part of the problem with what's happened in the economy here over the last year, in 2023, one of the reasons we didn't go into recession is because the consumer was spending. Mm-hmm. What were they spending? A lot of them were spending pandemic money that they got either from the government or they saved by not going out during the pandemic. That money is running out, and we know that because we see people going into debt, credit card debt increasing, delinquencies on the money owed. So the consumer is starting to feel a little bit of pressure there, mm-hmm. and there are assets that you can use. You keep your job. You don't have to leave your job. We would never tell you to do that. But there are assets you can use to generate additional income on a short-term basis, and we go over those in these classes that Josh is talking about.
Yeah, and you and I, we both talk with a lot of people. I mean, we got hundreds per month, thousands of people per year that come to the academy, and they want to do something different, and they say, I'm searching for something. And sometimes they don't really know what it is, but the people are always searching online for ways to have another income strategy. Well, the markets just might be that strategy. And if you're searching for something else, if you're searching for another strategy to have more income or to build your wealth or whatever, to buy your time back, why not check the avenue of the financial markets? As you say every week, it's probably one of the biggest and best wealth creation asset or things of all time. But you need a strategy that's designed to do that, and a strategy that's designed to follow the institutions, follow the smart money, and that's what we introduce you to in these investing classes. Is if you're searching for something, here's an opportunity for you, right? You can take it or leave it. The choice is yours. But wouldn't it be nice to know what that opportunity is? These investing classes are about 2 hours long, and we dive into what the markets are. What are some of the opportunities for income strategies? But also, how do you do that on top of your job so you don't have to leave your job? You don't have to change your life. The financial markets, the great thing about it is you can wrap this around your life and not have to change anything. And we introduce you to that technique and strategy. Come into one of these investing classes simply by texting the word investing to the number 210-210. So text, everybody has their phone in their hand right now, probably in their left hand with their thumb on the front and their pinky underneath holding it up. And just text the word investing to the number 210-210, where you're going to get a text right back with 2 seats for this class and an insider's kit, which will help you get started right away. You can also go online, if you're on the old interweb, to otamin.com. That's otaminn.com. So Al, with the different opportunities with stocks, which you mentioned, is a great opportunity. We don't want to discount that at all, but there's other avenues or assets that are out there. Let's talk about futures and Forex, and I want you to discuss and enlighten our listeners why that might be an opportunity to be able to be efficient with your capital, but also your time.
Well, there's a couple of really great benefits with these assets. We call them leveraged assets. You mentioned two of them, futures and Forex. There's also the options market. But one of the things that they provide you with as a benefit is the ability to have a small amount of money in a portfolio control a multiple of that. That's leverage.
Just to clarify that, that's relative. A small amount of money to some people could be $50,000, $100,000. A small amount of money to other people could be $2,000 to $5,000. You dictate that, but that's not your risk. That's just what you have in your account.
Yeah, it's like everything else you do in your life. You want to get the maximum benefit out of everything that you do. If you own a business and you have employees, you want every one of those employees to be performing for you. You want them to be productive. The same thing is true in trading and investing. You want each of your dollars to be productive for you. But a lot of people either don't want to put a lot of money into a portfolio or a position or positions, and a lot of people don't just have the money to do that. That's a great thing about these assets. It opens the door to opportunities for people that have small accounts or that are a little reluctant to use part of their money to be in the market. That leverage is very much like a mortgage on a house. You don't have to have all the cash to buy a house. You can take out a mortgage, and for maybe $30,000 or $40,000, you could control the $400,000 asset. That's leverage. Well, for maybe a couple thousand or $1,000 or even less than that, you may be able to control something that's 10 or 20 or 50 times that with these leveraged assets.
Let's explain that for a second. So let's just say the futures market, 20 to 1 leverage. It has up to 20 to 1 leverage. So let's just say an investor has $5,000. What does that mean?
Well, if you multiply 5,000 by 20, that is exactly what you're going to get. So a $5,000 account could be, that could control maybe $100,000.
So it has the buying power of much more. So now you're efficient, is what that means.
Exactly. You're maximizing the value of each dollar. These are futures, for example, which we're talking about, is very short term in its nature. So if you're looking for additional income, it has to be something that you can achieve or realize short term. And short term is relative too. For some people, it could be just a day or a couple of days or a week or a month. But you can't wait 10 or 20 or 30 years to generate income to pay for something now. It has to be something you can achieve now. Futures trades almost 24 hours a day, so you've got a lot of opportunities there. It also gives you the opportunity to be really well diversified amongst things that are either inversely correlated, not correlated, or correlated.
Yep. Yeah, one of my good friends was talking the other day, and he's like, yeah, I'm a short-term trader. And, it's like you said, it's relative. And he's like, yeah, my positions sometimes last 2 to 3 weeks at a time, sometimes 4 weeks. Sure. And I said, oh, yeah, that's relative because you dictate your time. And if it's short-term, it can be anything. So in that example, if a trade or investment lasts 1 week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, there's absolutely nothing that you need to be doing in between time. So as I kicked off, I think it was the first segment, talking about utilizing your time and having your money work for you and not working for your money, which is what a job is. So it's just how to have the strategies that are designed to do that. And then you dictate your time, which you can do that with the strategy that you use, but also the time frames that you use, which will show you how that works in these investing classes here at the Academy. But also you dictate your capital as well. As we were talking about, if you have a leveraged asset where it's 20 to 1 leverage, which means every dollar controls 20. So let's just say somebody has a $5,000 account. It'll actually act like $100,000 in this example. So it's just being efficient with your money, doing more with it. And in my mind, I would say that's less risk because you're putting less dollars into the market. When you buy stocks, it's basically dollar for dollar. If you want a $100,000 investment, you got to put $100,000 into it. And then if it goes up $1, woohoo, you made $1 per share. Whoop-de-doo. So it's just different techniques that they may not tell you about on TV. They may not, and quite frankly, they don't teach this in school either. That's why we exist. We're an academy right here in Bloomington that trains these skills and these techniques, and it starts with a free investing class to see what these opportunities are. Simply just text the word investing to the number 210 right now for 2 seats for an investing class right here. We're actually in Bloomington. We have locations where we go to right in your backyard on the North Metro, South Metro, East and West Metro. So we're coming to your hometown to help you with that financial literacy. Text the word investing to the number 210 for 2 seats, or go to otamin.com. That's OTAMINN.com. Coming up next, we're going to talk about wealth strategies, opportunities with your 401ks and IRAs. This is Josh and Al, Investing and Trading Live. We will be right back.